The garden with a curry scent.
I can smell
Topiary elephant there.
Just put chicken.
Yeah.
Curry chicken.
Topiary elephant here with the trunk pointing up, meaning good luck, of course. On the left-hand side, you can see our antique Indian tea house.
Wow.
It's around 150 years old and it overlooks the water. So in the water you'll see from time to time ducks in there, black swans as well as pelicans.
No crocodile.
No crocodiles, no. And here's a wire frame for a topiary on the right hand side, give you an idea of what's under it. Something happened to that buck, so we had to cut it away. And we grow all our topiary out the back in our nursery. Going to make our way now up to the Chinese moongate garden.
Video.
Video. Beautiful garden. Gawan ka no. Ganda yun. Like in the movie Secret Garden.
On your left hand side you'll see a wisteria walkway. As you can see, wisteria is a climber. And this one produces a slender purple flower about 30 centimetres long. That's a mixture of both Chinese and Japanese wisteria. And that flower died off second week of October. Usually the wisteria will be out mid-August to mid-September. And if you're ever going to grow wisteria, you've got to make sure you get a grafted plant, because if you get a seed-raised wisteria, it can take up to 20 years or more to flower. I wouldn't like to be waiting around for that long. Here on the left-hand side, you'll see our Chinese moongate garden. Two standard kumquat trees on the outside. They're believed to bring good fortune. Their botanical name's Fortunella margarita. Now the round doorway here, that's the moongate. It's round because in the Chinese culture they believe that demons lurk in corners. So by taking away the corners you're left with a circle. And of course the red colour is lucky in the Chinese culture. But the Buddhists are quite famous for recreating landscapes in miniature. So as you look through here, there's a big rock up the back which represents a mountain. The topiary in front of that represents clouds. The white pebbles coming down represent a river. The grass on the left represents hills and valleys. And there's a representation of a forest on the right-hand side. There's also black bamboo planted up the back. And a pathway that you can walk around the back of that garden. Always reminds me of the song Moon River. It's from the movie Breakfast at Tiffany's with Audrey Hepburn. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Moon River, wider than a mile. Lovely song. Most of the grass you'll see around here at the gardens is Sir Walter grass, which is a soft-leaf buffalo grass. It was developed in Australia just for our conditions. It's very drought and disease tolerant. When we established the gardens, we laid equivalent to 32 football fields of grass on the 60 acres. So that is a lot of lawn mowing. If you're wondering how many people work at the gardens, around 30 employees any given weekday.
Oh, 30.
Most of the people will go home around 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And I'll start quite early in the morning. So that's our gardeners. So we've got 10 display gardens and one dedicated gardener to each of those gardens. And those gardeners get rotated on average every 12 months. On top of that we have our maintenance crew. So they maintain our machinery. We have our floating crew who set up for special events including weddings and school holidays attractions. And also they mow the lawns. But on top of that we also have our office staff including myself. Yeah, there's the waterfall once again on the right hand side, just from a different angle. In this garden on the right hand side you will see some lavender. Now lavender has an antibacterial property to it. So it was used in World War I as a wound dressing for injured soldiers and also as a disinfectant in the hospitals. But it goes back further than that because in 1923 when they discovered the remains of King Tut, they found remnants of lavender with him. And they believe in those times that the wealthy people would bathe in lavender, which makes sense because it would be a kind of deodorant of sorts. Here in the garden bed on the right hand side, can you see the holes that are being dug in this garden bed? That's from rabbits. They're trying to eat the roots to the roses because there's lots of nutrients there. What you can see here with the white flower is the angel's trumpet. It's a shrub. And all parts of that shrub are toxic, including the sap. So it comes all the way from Chile.
Toxic.
Poison, yeah. You can see what the rabbit's done to that rose there. It's harmed it quite bad. I haven't been on the buggy all that long, but already you get an idea there's a lot of walking tracks here. Around 8 kilometres worth in total, and they're all covered with rhyolite, which is a crushed sandstone. Over to my left-hand side is a diosma hedge. It gets a very tiny purple flower to it. Let's see if I can spot some for you. Here.
What's
A
it?
very tiny purple flower on this
Ah,
hedge.
yeah.
So we like to keep this hedge smooth, but if we let the flower grow, it would cover, that purple flower would cover the whole of the hedge here. So winding our way up to the top of the gardens, heading towards the waterfall outlook.
Wow.
So these rocks you can see out to the right hand side, they're the rocks that form our waterfall, at the top of the waterfall there. And they're man-made rocks, sprayed with cement. Calivias are planted up amongst the trees here. There's one little flower still on it, orange and yellow just down there. These are mostly red calivias. And directly beside us on the right we have Chinese star jasmine. Now jasmine is a climber, we use it mostly around the property as ground cover. I'm going to take you down to have a look at our lookout. Overlooks the sunken garden and the waterfall. Now with a wedding, the bride usually walks along the aisle here and she meets up with the groom up on top of the waterfall where they get married.
Nice.
So once again we've got wisteria on either side of us. This one here flowers are white wisteria.
Yeah.
So I'll stop at the top of the stairs here. You can get out and have a look over the top of the waterfall.
Okay. Yeah.
Have you been up here today?